Hey.
Here you have a man in pain. The first thing you notice is that he wants something, but not just something, he wants something from you. As he's holding your car keys tight in his hand, you realize that you're starting to feel really scared. You want to leave, so you try to have a conversation. You ask him what he wants. He responds by telling you a story that you don't quite understand. You only sense it's a sort of reference to what he was talking about earlier. He gives you your car keys back. You leave. Just when you're about to drive away, you hear him mumbling something. Think about loss? Learn about loss? You drive home and forget about it. Max Cady is a person with unmet needs. Everything he does or says is an expression of what he needs but isn't getting. At the beginning of the film, Max mentions he has spent 14 years in prison. He repeats this at least 4 times throughout the film.
I spent 14 years!
A person who repeats themselves is a person who doesn't believe they've been hurt. Notice how every time he says it, he words it slightly different, trying to make himself clear in every way that he can.
14 years ago, I was forced to make a commitment. 14 years in an 8x9 cell surrounded by people who were...
He is leaving breadcrumbs, so to speak. Breadcrumbs to what? What could it possibly be that he wants?
What do you want, Mr. Cady?
They're great at that age, ain't they? All those discoveries ahead of them.
Look, Mr. Cady, I realize that you suffer.
Oh,
I understand.
Max Cady is a man that is in desperate need to be listened to be understood. With everything he does, essentially he's saying, look, Mr. Bowden, I feel hurt, because 14 years ago, you as my lawyer have done something differently than I hoped. There was a report with evidence that could have saved me those 14 years in prison. You had access to that report. I had wished you would have brought it up. When I found out you didn't and buried the report, I felt extremely hurt, sad and alone, because I was in need of trust, support and safety. The most basic human need is the need to be listened to. One can't help but imagine how the film would have panned out had that first conversation gone differently. What tells me it could have is the way how Sam is approached by Max.
That much freedom could maybe get a felon into trouble. What do you think?
There's room for dialogue.
Could it be you don't remember me?
Telling someone that you know they've suffered suggests that you also know how much.
You suffered in prison. There's no question.
When saying that, you're not present. You're not actually listening. The point is to put effort into guessing, because when you're guessing, even if it's wrong, at least you're attempting to understand the other person, and it will be appreciated. He talks about discoveries, as in, what has been taken away from him? Do you remember me? As in, do you know how much I've suffered? Max is always telling the same thing. His experience has hurt him in every way.
Oh, I'm disappointed. I'm hurt.
I can imagine a different conversation to go in the following way. Are you feeling hurt because you would have wished to spend less time in prison? Oh, you're an absolute genius, counselor. Do you know what loss is, counselor? Sounds like you're feeling disappointed and you're wondering whether I can really understand what it's like living under these conditions. Is that right? I've lost so much, you self-righteous fuck. So, you're enraged and desperate because you experienced those 14 years as time you'll never get back? Time I'll never get back because of you. I can sense you are referring to the report that I buried. You must have hoped that I would have brought it up, so that it could have saved you those 14 years. How could you bury it? I hear how painful it is for you, and you'd like me to really understand. Is that right? You were my lawyer. You were my lawyer. You were supposed to defend me. You were in need of support and trust. And after you found out that I buried the report, you felt extremely alienated and hopeless. Am I hearing you right? I've lost everything. My freedom, my family, my humanity. I've lived like an animal. There's a dialogue exchange near the end of the film that comes close to this.
Yes, Lee?
Listen to me, Max. Listen to me. I've tried to imagine what it must have been like for you all those years locked up in jail. I've tried to imagine you and even your crimes and how you must have felt in those moments that you did them. You see, I know about loss.
True empathy, as in listening, is more than putting yourself in the shoes of another person. Recalling what you've been through suggests that your experience is the same as theirs. There can't be made any judgments or diagnoses. Notice the disgusted look on her face after hearing her own words. It reveals that she didn't mean them. She just wanted to get out of the situation. When looking at it this way, the conversations between Sam and his wife and daughter seem to go the same way. Danielle feels alone. Is she, just like Max, begging for understanding? In Max, she sees resemblance. They're all left alone in this world. When Sam confronts her about this, she sees it as an attack on her needs to be seen and understood.
No.
So she repels.
Never be any connection between you.
Sam is contributing to the very behavior he is concerned about. Lee wants a sense of mutuality and contribution.
Our dog, what's he gonna do? Lick him to death?
What if I do this? Will you get angry? What if I do this? She doesn't have a sense that she's being trusted. She feels helpless.
Oh, Jesus, Lee, I told you not to let him out.
I didn't let him out!
When you give a person labels, you are contributing to the very behavior that you're trying to get rid of, which you then view as further confirmation of your diagnosis.
Bitch,
You white trash piece of shit.
Psychotic. Ex-con.
Repulsive.
Little prick.
Creep. Son of a bitch.
White trash
When you
piece
call
of
me a
shit.
murderer,
Ex-con.
I am going to murder. When you call me a rapist, I am going to rape. When you call me a psychopath, I will go on a
I mean,
rampage.
if you had seen what he did to this girl.
buried the report.
I mean, if
Listening can be a way to accomplish your own goals. It can be a means to some greater end. Listening, in and of itself, has to be for the sake of listening. It could kill you.